Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Gaunt show. Starmer humiliated by Trump yesterday. I think he's delusional. I think he's dangerous. And I think he's failing Britain. And in the next 30 minutes or so, I shall explain why, if I can get my teeth in. Welcome to the Gaunt show. Let's have your comments. Let's get talking. As you know, I am John Gaunt, and I'm going to pull no punches tonight. Keir Starmer got publicly humiliated on the world stage last night. He was a bit like John Terry when Chelsea won the European Cup. He put his kit on and he came and picked up the cup, even though he hadn't played. Although, to be fair to John Terry, he'd done a lot more than Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer scored an own goal, didn't he, when he recognised Palestine before Trump wanted it to happen. So that's why Trump turned his back to him last night. He didn't even bother with him. He just turned instead to talk to the rest of the real leaders. Starmer didn't know what to do. He's resembling Ricky Gervais in The Office, isn't he? He hasn't got a clue. He's the kind of bloke at work who wears a Disney tie and thinks that means he's a bit of a character. He's a bit of a lad. David Brent of politics. But that moment with Trump sums up Starmer perfectly. Irrelevant, delusional. But here's the worrying bit. I think he's now dangerously out of his depth. He went to the Commons this afternoon and he basically said nothing apart from he's wonderful and his government was involved. It's bullshit. It's a lie. While Britain faces grooming gangs, the small boat crisis, which is getting even worse at Dover, foreign spies, the Chinese, basically having a takeaway on the back of us, and religious sectarian hate on our streets, including the murder of 2 Jewish men. Starmer's only priority is his own image. He wants to play the international statesman while the country is meant to lead, i.e. the UK, burns behind him. So tonight, I'm basically asking the question the mainstream media won't. Is Starmer just clueless, or is he a genuine threat to Britain's future? I want your opinion, please. I think all he's going to do over the next few months is concentrate on himself, keeping power. He's being attacked from all angles, including his own backbenchers. So what he wants to do is make sure he doesn't finish before his term is up. But I say that's really dangerous because it means he's only looking after him. What do you think? Do you believe he was humiliated like I do? Do you believe that Trump has played a blinder despite this idiot Starmer messing it up? As I say, basically scoring an own goal by saying to Hamas, we recognise Palestine before they'd agreed to do anything. And I see now today, the breaking news is that Hamas are doing the same old thing. They're refusing to give all the dead bodies back. These people are animals. They're scum. And I've just looked. There's a Coventry MP, Zahra Sultana, who's saying that because Israel have now locked the border again, that Israel are in the wrong again. Hamas, just do what you agreed to do. Give those poor, grieving Jewish people and Israeli people their partners back, their bodies back. You disgusting fucking pigs. Sorry, I lost it there. I apologize for that. So, as I say, Starmer isn't just delusional. He is dangerous. Because while Britain faces crisis after crisis, let's go through them. The grooming gangs, nothing's happening on that. They still haven't even announced who's going to lead the inquiry. They haven't even said when it will start. The small boat invasion, still they come. More people now have come in their flip-flops over the channel in the whole of last year. What's he doing about it? I think he sent back 7, hasn't he? Meanwhile, thousands are pouring in. I think it's 4,000 already last week. There's these deeply, deeply worrying spying allegations for the Chinese. Did he put a trade deal with the Chinese over and above our national security? Well, he hasn't given me a satisfactory answer yet. And what about the anti-Semitic hate marches? In Parliament today, he said, we're not going to put up with it, da-da-da. But then he had to say it, didn't he? He just had to do it. He then went on and said, and likewise, the attack on the mosque in Peacehaven will not ever be accepted. Well, I understand that, and I'm with him. Apart from, get it in perspective, you plonker. No one died in the mosque because no one was there. It's not been proved who attacked it. Whereas we know it was a Muslim bloke. Now you're even saying maybe he had terrorist links who killed or is responsible for the death of those innocent Jewish men while they prayed on their most religious day in history. But no, see, Starmer just can't resist having a go at the rest of us every time. He's so desperate to be a global statesman, get himself in the WF, get himself a job with NATO or the United Nations. He's letting our country go to rack and ruin. But this week, Donald Trump, well, yesterday, showed the world exactly what he thinks of Starmer by simply turning away as he went to speak and he addressed the real leaders on the world stage. People keep saying to me, Trump is thick. No, he's not. That was the most perfect stitch-up I've ever seen. He got Starmer to believe that he was going to be the other leader who could speak, and then Trump just stood in front of him. It was beautiful. Well, apart from the fact it not only humiliated Starmer, it humiliated our great nation. Did you see the Italian Prime Minister, Meloni? She was having to bite her lip not to laugh. We are the laughing stock of the world because of this bunch of sixth formers who are in control, and they had the temerity to say the adults are back in the house. You see the inflation figures today. It's just getting out of control. We can't have another 4 years of Starmer, can we? But Trump yesterday turning his back on him, that exposed Starmer for what he is, irrelevant, politically tone deaf, and completely out of his depth. He is the David Brent out of the office of politics. He just hasn't got a clue. He's got the Midas touch in reverse, as I keep saying, and we are in a terrible situation with him in charge. And that's why I've put the picture up of him on his private jet. He thinks he's so in control. He's so cool. He's so liberal. He's so progressive. Meanwhile, Jewish people are being killed on the streets. Hate marches are shouting from the river to the sea and other anti-Semitic slogans. We've got a big fight about our flag. There should be no fight about whether we can put our flag up or not. The world the United Kingdom is in the pits. So it goes far beyond embarrassment because we're crying out, aren't we, for strong, decisive leadership. But Starmer's only priority is to cling to power like a limpet in Padstow Harbour. Don't expect any answers over the next few months. Don't expect any solutions or indeed any real action. There'll just be more photo opportunities, empty rhetoric, and a government asleep at the wheel. So I'm asking you, is Starmer a serious threat to our future? Has it gone beyond taking the mickey out of him now? Why is he refusing to tackle the grooming gangs or indeed the serious allegations of Chinese espionage? Is he ever going to do anything about the boats, or is he just going to keep letting them in? And what's he going to do about the hate marches on the streets of London? They should be banned. Palestine is free now. Get back to your student digs and stop acting like that and bringing our great capital city into disrepute. And finally this, what does Trump's snub tell us about how other world leaders really see this idiot? I want your opinion. So if you want to get in touch, just put a little comment at the bottom of the screen there, and we'll use that to fuel the debate. We are in a bad situation. No urgency on the grooming gangs. No transparency on the Chinese spying. Who's lying? We don't know. No real action on the small boats crisis. No crackdown on the hate marches. And every opportunity he gets, he's off on his private jet to strut his stuff on the world stage. That's why today he also said, we will pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. Will we? I don't think that was in your manifesto. I don't think that's what we want. I think we want less money spent abroad, more money spent here. You are a complete and utter disgrace, Keir Starmer. Are you with me? Or are you against me? I'm not asking him, I'm asking you. So come on, let's have your comments and we'll get to them now. It's the John Gaunt Show, live and unleashed. And I'm here till about another half hour or so. If you want to join in, put a comment on the screen, say something on Twitter, say something on Facebook, but just join in. And if it's the first time you've ever watched me, could you press the like button, please? Because the more people who press that, the better for more people to find us. And if you want to donate because you think I'm good, then feel free to do that. Just press the $sign and donate a few quid to keep this independent broadcasting going. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Sorry I didn't do a show last night, but to be honest with you, I was so much into it and watching it and seeing what's going to happen. I just didn't want to go off too prematurely, surely, to speak. Yes, okay, Lisa, thank you for the joke. So, up to you then, if you want to join in. Let's go. Digital Corals. What are you doing? Hold on. There we are. 3 rockets and a punch sign. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Someone buy DJT a beer. You mean Donald Trump? Yes. Very good. He doesn't drink beer, though. He only drinks Diet Coke, doesn't he? But you can buy me a beer. Silky link. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt if you wish to donate. Thank you for your comments. Neil Halliday. Keir Starmer is a traitor. I think so. I think I'd have to agree. I don't think it's any more, though. I don't think we can call him 2-tier anymore. He is just 1 tier. The 1 tier that he represents, the progressive, liberal, wealthy, human rights leeches party. That's what he is. It's. I can't believe we're in this position. Good evening, John, says Stephen from Billericay. Thank you, Stephen. Hula Hoop says deluded, demonic, dystopian, deranged, Starmer. All the traps of a psychopath. Thank you very much indeed for your comments, Hula. Right, let's move on. Oh, Adam Cowning, big fan of the show, been with me for a long time. Hi, Adam. I don't trust Starmer. He's as slippery as an oiled-up Ukrainian rent boy. Adam, I don't know what you're alluding to, but thank you very much indeed. Yeah, he's just... it's not even slippery. Do you know what? He doesn't even give an SH1T now, Adam, what you think of him. He knows. He's obviously had a bit of therapy, and somebody said to him, well, you're in charge for the next 4 years. Just carry on. Ignore the hoi polloi, hasn't he? But what an embarrassment to our nation yesterday that he went, well, first of all, he shouldn't have been there. He should have been in the Commons answering questions about the Chinese spying allegations, but he's forced his way in. But Trump was played a blinder. He put him on the back row. He put him behind the highest seat so you couldn't see him. And then when he goes, where's the UK? And he looks around and he goes, I'm here, sir. It was like a pathetic little schoolboy. Then he walks forward. Trump takes 1 step to the right as if to say, go on then, you can have a go now, you can say something. And the Polish guy had already spoken, so he goes to speak, and then Trump just walks in front of him and carries on. It was the absolute stitch-up. And when people say Trump is thick, think again. And also, I think we should have some people saying well done to Donald Trump today. He pulled that off. Nobody else would have done. No one. And I see the BBC have got their black armbands on because they want the war to continue. They certainly don't want it stopped by somebody who's tough, or as they would describe, a bully like Trump. I don't care if he's a bully. Has he brought peace to the Middle East? Yes. Has anybody else ever done it? No. Did Biden do it? No. Did Barack Obama? No. And on the 100th birthday of Margaret Thatcher, which is what it was yesterday, don't you wish we had a bloody leader like Trump or Mrs. T? Let's have your views. I had to turn GB News off for the show, John. Well, that's good. They can do without one listener. Thank you for joining me, Den. You're a good man. God bless Mr. Trump. Love the man, says Bonnie Scott. Stephen says, the Prime Minister's office is flying on autopilot. He hopes to coast along until the next general election. You're right, Steve. Well observed. What he's actually doing, Steve, is what he did a couple of weeks ago. He knew Parliament was going to break up. If he could just hold off the heat a bit, then we'd break up because of the party conferences, which is what's happened. He's now mired in. See, people you haven't forgotten, have you? Lord Mandelson. He still hasn't given an answer to that. The small boats crisis, no answer, no solutions, no nothing. We're going to stop the boats. We're going to smash the gangs. You couldn't smash a bloody avocado, you ponce. What else has he not done? The Chinese. Why isn't he telling us what's gone on with the Chinese? He was still lying, in my opinion. Or should I say, not telling the whole truth today. And why does he put every other Tom, Dick, and you know what before the great British public? How much longer is this cretin going to continue? Richard Marvel, he has to go. This man cannot continue in power for the remainder of his tenure. Imagine the damage he could do whilst being more concerned with getting the Muslim vote. Richard, I agree entirely. A lot of his decisions at the moment, like his decision to recognise the Palestinian state, that wasn't about Middle East peace. That was about trying to keep the Red Wall on side and the so-called Muslim bloc vote. Of course it was. Anyone can see that. I'm not saying he shouldn't appeal to different sections of the community of this great country. Of course he should. And it should be inclusive. But we can all see what's going on. In his speech today, in the Commons, he went on about the anti-Semitic march. Well, not really about the marches, about the murder of these two men. But then he was straight into Islamophobia again. The mosque should not have been attacked. I condemn it. But it's not on the same plane, is it, as the murder of two innocent blokes who are at worship? No, it's not, Keir. But he's got to the point now where he doesn't care. You do understand this? He doesn't care what you think or me. He's just going to carry on regardless. I love that song. It's a House Martins, isn't it? Carry on regardless. Stephen Alden, damage limitation and pre-planned photo opportunities. The captain has left the good ship UK. I don't think he was ever the captain, my friend. He got in by pure accident. Kevin Hounslow, Trump should walk away. He's done his best. The MSM won't give him credit. They want him to fail. Trump should let the rest of the world espouse the EU. I can understand where that frustration is coming from. I mean, the BBC coverage was despicable. And today, like I say, yesterday they had the black armbands on. Today, they're almost dancing in the streets because there's a problem at the moment because Hamas, the terrorist scum, haven't given back all the bodies, which was part of the deal. Israel has given them the 2,000 detainees, but not the BBC. The BBC said the BBC should be on the side of Israel. But no, again, they're on the side of the terrorists, Hamas. Zara Sultana said this is terrible that Israel aren't let, because they've now said no more food coming in until we get all the bodies. I don't blame Israel. Do you? Come on, let's have some converse on this, please. Evening, John. Been a while. Was Starmer... Evening, John. Been a while, said Red Rock 1907. Was Starmer shown what happens when you play with the big boy? Oh, yeah. Starmer was shown what happens when you play with the big boys, and I loved it, says Red Rock 1907. Thank you for your comments. Please remember, you can comment, put a little comment up, press send, and I'll get to it when I get through the rest of them. You can also send a donation. Click that $sign if you could, please, and just send a few quid. Keep these podcasts going. I'm telling you, we're heading towards a clampdown. The independent media is going to be more important than ever. So if you can afford to support me in just a little way, please do so. Alternatively, just press the little $sign on here and donate anything from a couple of quid upwards. Dead simple to do. Where are we going next? Jim Bob. I'd like to say he's useless, but I think it's all by design. It must be, as Starmer is evidently not stupid. Since Thatcher, each PM is progressively worse, taking the country on a path to destruction. Well, I don't know about that, mate. No, obviously he's not thick. I agree with that, Jim. He's a clever bloke. But what is he doing? Is he just so arrogant that he believes his progressive view of the world is the only one that matters? And when I say progressive, I'm doing this, of course. I think it's regressive. Do you hear about that Muslim? There's a Muslim, what is it? Swimming event or no, not swimming. It's a run, a fun run in the park, but no girls can take part, but nobody at the age of puberty. No young women, no women. It's only men. I was listening to the radio earlier, and they were saying, "Well, that's okay. Other religions have men-only things, do they? And if they do, it's wrong." And then what about Farage today? The bloke, he's a flip-flop warrior, although it's a bit more serious than that. He comes over on a dinghy. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's basically saying, plop, plop, I'm going to come to kill Nigel Farage. Somebody tips off Nigel, so Nigel tells the police. And for once, the police must have gone, "Oh, who is it? It's an illegal immigrant." "Oh, yes, Mr. Farage. File that in the bin." I bet they were thinking. And he said, "But he's threatening to kill me." So they investigate, and it gets to court. And good on the judge. It was a female judge. She sentenced this guy to 5.5 years in prison. But then here's the interesting bit. After the case, Farage was interviewed, and he said, "Well, 5.5 years, that's only 18 months, because that's the ridiculous justice system." So he said, then this bloke will be back out on the streets. So that doesn't really reassure me. I take his point. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, he then said a really interesting thing, which was, I wonder how many more people like this have got in via Dover, because this guy has come from Dover. He is a flip-flop warrior. There's another court case today. Got to be careful what we say here, because we don't know if the man is guilty or not. An asylum seeker who stabbed a woman who was the cook in the hostel/hotel. Stabbed her to death many, many times. That's the accusation. Then there's the Nuneaton case, where allegedly one Afghani held a woman down, a 14-year-old, and the other one raped her. Then, of course, there's the Epping Bell Hotel, where there's been at least 2 people sent down. There's the guy who went down for 12 months. And here's the third interesting thing in the Nigel Farage case today. As he was being taken down, this Afghan started shouting, "I want to go back to Afghanistan." We could deport him immediately because his sentence is more than 12 months. But now the Uber liberals are saying, "Oh, no, I don't know if we can." He wants to go. I've got a solution. Next, not lifeboat, what they call dinghies that turn up in Dover. Hold on to it. Put him in it. Throw him out into the middle of the bloody channel and say, "Make your own way back." You terrible, horrid man. He wanted to kill Farage. I just find it. And then Lucy Connolly goes to prison for 31 months for a few hurty words. She shouldn't have done that either. But I don't think she was the clear and present danger to the United Kingdom. Do you? Could you? The EU could do anything. Could do anything without US support, especially military-wise. Trump should walk away. I think what you're trying to say there is the EU couldn't do anything without US support, especially military-wise. Trump should walk away. What, and leave us all in it? I know where you're coming from, Kevin. I'm frustrated as well. Pam Millett on Facebook says, good afternoon. Starmer is totally destroying Britain, our way of living, our futures, together with his stooge, Reeves. Well, just wait till this budget comes down the line. I've got a headache just even thinking about it. Starmer is the biggest loser ever. Well, we got a massive majority. Roseth 22, and he ain't going anywhere at the moment. Labour are totally dependent on the Muslim vote. It's clearly visible in every policy decision. That's Ryan H. Ryan H, I think you'll find statistically that's probably not quite true, but I understand the sentiment behind it because it seems like they're playing to a gallery. They don't want to upset that supposed block vote, which I think in its very nature is racist. I don't think all Muslims will only vote on religious ground. Of course I don't. That would be racist. But it seems like the Labour Party do. Let's move on. James R.C. Irvin. All of the lice are his only constituents. I don't understand that, but thank you. I hope he now realises what Trump really thinks of him. He's irrelevant, says Denise Deacon on Facebook. If the Palestine marches carry on, it'll show what they're really all about. Jew hate. Denise, I agree. There should be no more marches. But you see, you've got people like Zara Sultana now and Jeremy Corbyn say, oh, no, the marches are going to continue until we get a free Palestine. You can't satisfy these people. Israel gave back 2,000. They don't call them terrorists or convicts. They just say people who'd been detained. Hamas now are refusing to give back some of the bodies of the hostages that they kept for 2 years. It's absolutely disgusting. Do you agree? The Prime Minister should work for us and we are his boss, says Michael Yates. Yeah, that's the way it's meant to work, Michael. This Prime Minister works for the globalists and they are his boss. And what they want and what we want are at different ends of the spectrum. You are absolutely right, Michael. Nice comment. Thank you for it on YouTube. Rosseth says, John, your beard is growing back. I like it. Also, Starmer is a wimp. Well, the second part, I agree with you. The beard, I can't ever make my mind up. It was meant to be just stubble again, but it's come back to a full beard. So I think I'll probably have to take it off. I probably will have to take it off. Maybe I'll have a sponsored beard shave. Anybody going to donate tonight? You're very slow. Come on, guys, help me out. Let's move on. Khan is part of the London grooming gangs. These 4 13-year-old girls been sexually active because it's part of the Islamic religion. Well, come on, Pam, you've got to be careful there. It is true Muhammad had a 13-year-old wife. It doesn't mean that every Muslim is a pedo. Of course it doesn't. And Sadiq Khan, certainly not. However, there has to be questions about Sadiq Khan when it comes to the grooming gangs because he says it's not happening in London. Well, that's evidently bullshit and that should be investigated. But the idea that he's a pedo, I can't let you say that, Pam. Please, that is wrong. Dark Angel, why is Starmer making plans for Gaza when it's Trump's and division thing? Looks like we're on our own yet again, says Dark Angel. You're right. Well, you know why he's doing it? Because he's playing to his voting mob, isn't he? That's why he's doing that. It's not our job to rebuild Gaza. We didn't bomb Gaza into the Stone Age. Israel's a very, very rich country. But Hamas don't help themselves. And the Palestinian Authority should tell Hamas to get in line. If this falls apart, I don't think people like Trump will ever bother again. Do you? And we haven't had enough people saying Trump's fantastic. He's done a brilliant job, because he has. What he's pulled off is incredible. Do you agree with me or disagree? Put a comment up on the screen. Thank you, Dark Angel on YouTube. Graham Hatton. I must admit, John, I took a great deal of smug satisfaction in the humiliation of Starmer last night. The look on his face was priceless. If it had been any other prime minister of our great nation, I'd have been fuming. But this was so very, very satisfying. Graham, on Facebook, I think you probably sum up what a lot of people think. It couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, could it? And it was the way he thought, oh, I'm going to get to speak. Mr. Trump's going to allow me to speak. No way, Jose. And what about the energy of Trump? He flew all the way there yesterday to Israel, then Tel Aviv, then Egypt, then he's flown back. And then tonight, or today, as it is now in Washington, he's given some celebrationary medal to the family of Charlie Kirk. I mean, the bloke doesn't stop. He's got the energy of a 21-year-old. David Percy, I would love to see your proof of this. What proof do you want? For what? Don't you want to finish off your comment there? I don't know what you're on about, mate. I would love to see your proof of this. What, you mean you don't think he's weak, dangerous, and delusional? If you can't see, if that's what you're talking about, David, you're an idiot. You can't see how he fits any of those descriptive words. Go and read the bloody Guardian. Rosseth 22, well done, Trump. Thank you. Michael, YouTube. See all those world leaders sucking up to Trump? The Pakistan PM, I thought he was related to for a minute. They know you have to be a friend to Trump, otherwise you get a bunker bomb in your front room. Yeah? So, diplomacy's not worked, has it? He is the strongest leader, and they're the strongest country in the world. It's not like he's trying to take over the world, or he's not Hitler, is he? Although some lefties would like to think he is. He's trying to bring peace and freedom to people. I think he's doing a brilliant job. Michael just sent me a super sticker for £1.99. Thank you very much indeed. Every penny counts. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can also go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Simon Hatt says, oh, here we go. Your constitutional right is to petition the king. Barrister Stephen Barrett would like as many as possible to write to the king, expressing Starmer be removed. If enough people do it, then he cannot ignore it, says Simon Hatt. Yeah. It's a bit like petitions. I'm not sure that's, well, good luck to you if you want to try it, Simon, but thank you. It would absolutely plunge the country into chaos, but there we are. Starmer thinks he's in charge. I wish so, says Dark Angel. Don't quite understand that. Lee Goatee, Trump mugged him off. Bring on Farage. Yeah, maybe, does anybody want to talk about Nigel and this man who then said he wants to be deported? He's going to prison for 5.5 years. Why should we keep him? Show him the way to Afghanistan and tell him to, yeah, maybe not. But I tell you what, joking aside, don't we need to know who's in the country? How many have come in the dinghies? It's thousands, isn't it? Even since Starmer's been in charge, tens of thousands. Proportionally, how many of them do we know who they are? That would be a good statistic to find out. And then what they do, the establishment, people like Starmer and his Human Rights Brigade, they will attack people like those mothers in Epping or in the other hotels, migrant hotels, who say, look, we don't want this. We're worried about our kids. They immediately leap to the fact that it's you who are in the wrong. You're the moron. You're the thicko. You're the racist. But Mr. Starmer, do you know who these people are? Do you know who just one of those people is getting out of the dinghy or getting into the RNLI raft? Do you? Please tell us. Because the one who wanted to kill Farage It's now come out that the Swedish authorities say, no, that's not his name. He committed 10 or 11 offences over here, and his name is something else. Keir Starmer, you are playing Russian roulette with our lives, particularly the lives and the security of our women, our daughters, our mums, our wives, our girlfriends, our sisters, our little children. What gives you the effing right to do that whilst you're in Downing Street protected? Why are you doing this? Why can't you see that if we have to take them in, we should put them in old army camps and not allow them to walk into town centres during the day? Why aren't you processing them quicker? And I asked the same question to Boris Johnson, to Rishi, the lettuce, and everybody else who came before. Why don't you care? And then you and your chums, well, it used to be your chums in the media, but certainly still in the BBC, you get upset about us putting up flags. I was watching Midlands Today last night because, I didn't do the show last night, so I normally miss it now. But I watched it, and they had an Asian chat. I'm just describing what he was, which I know you're not allowed to say what they are now, but it was an Asian chat, an Asian Brummie. Well, I think it's from the Black Country. And he was taking down the flags. And he said, it's my democratic right to take them down if I don't like them, just like it's their democratic right if they want to put them up. And he said, I'm going to give all the flags to charity. The BBC ran that as a story. No opposite side to it. They ran it, as if this guy was a good Samaritan. Now, it's a story if you get the other side and you say, what do you think about this? Let's debate it. But the BBC, again, showed its true colours. And let me tell you, the BBC colours are not red, white and blue. No, they're not. We've got to get serious. We've got to get serious. Patrick Bateman on YouTube says Starmer looks like a worried and nervous man. I think he is. And so he should be. Because if there's another death, it's going to be on him, isn't it? It's going to be on him. Because I know they've put a few police cars round the synagogues, but have they actually dealt with the problem? Which is there's still people who think it's acceptable to go onto the streets of our major cities and sing From the River to the Sea. Did you see the Oxford guy? He's at Bailey. Was it Bailey College? Clever guy. And I'm not going to repeat it here, but he's written a song about Jewish people being buried under the ground in Gaza. This guy should be chucked out of university tomorrow. He's at the top university in the world, Oxford. And he's coming out with shit like this. It's just not on. Dark Angel says, I give up. I kind of agree with you on one level. I've never despised a political leader or a prime minister like I despise Keir Starmer. The damage he is doing to Britain is unquantifiable, says Ross Y. Thank you. That's a really good comment. Very strong. Like it a lot. Maggie Young's here, one of my regulars. When I went to Cardinal Newman School, the odd brilliant kid went to university. Now anyone can get into university and use their privileges to demonstrate on issues that they simply don't understand. Maggie, you're so right. And of course, that all comes back to Blair. He wanted 50% of all of our children to go to university, or uni, as they call it. To be fair to Starmer, he's now talking about let's also... No, is it him or was it Kemi Bednar? One of them is saying now we should also respect the trades, plumbing, being a spark and all those kinds of things. I agree. And I went to university and I was the first one in my whole family to go. But yeah, too many people have, and too many of them let their brains rot, as far as I can see, Maggie. But anybody who's saying things like that guy, who's basically chanting to kill Jews, Zionists. He called them Zios. That's the sort of thinking behind this bloke. And I think he didn't think he'd get exposed, but somebody's found him. Because nowadays, you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. Well, unless you're the Prime Minister. He must have felt terrible last night, mustn't he? He must even... Did I feel... No, hang on. I was going to say I felt sorry for him. No, I don't. But anyway, I apologise for being a bit weak then. Richard Pope. Evening, John. Sorry to digress. I was fuming when I saw that terrorist that threatened to kill Farage on the BBC News just before your show. It's not digressing, Rich. We're talking about that as well. Because it's all part of the same problem. Keir Starmer, he loves his human rights, so he ain't going to rip that up, is he? He wrote the book to go with the ECHR, so he's not going to leave, is he? And like I said at the top of this program, you might have missed it, Richard, but at the top of the program, I said, all he's interested now is his legacy. So he doesn't want to be chucked out of office before he's done his 4 years. He doesn't. So he'll do anything to stay in, which means selling us down the river to Islamist fanatics, if that's the case. Letting in every Tom, Dick and you-know-what at Dover. It means not having a proper deportation policy in place. It's allowing the police to become this woke liberal mess. It's frightening. It's really frightening. Jackie Ward says, I laughed when Trump turned his back on Starmer. It was genius. Trump is so clever. I think he's got Starmer completely worked out. I agree, Jackie. I'm 100% with you on that. It's a pity his own party can't see it in the States. How long can he survive dragging our country into the abyss? Well, I said before that I thought Starmer would be out of power by Christmas, but I don't know. No one's got a backbone. No one will actually move it on. And the media, they skirt around it. And then this Chinese spy thing, I'm telling you, it's mega. It's a massive story. But he got away with it today in the Commons. And he's hoping now to get to Christmas, which in the Commons starts in about November. So then they'll be in recess again. I'm joking about that, but you understand where I'm coming from. I don't know. Den Spinks. Apparently Starmer has given 40 billion quid to Gaza. We can't afford it, but he wants us to help pay for it. He's destroying our economy generously. He certainly is. He certainly is. It's like when he says to Zelensky, the whole of the UK is right behind you. You better have a look here over your shoulder, because they're not. Although I hope that Trump can now sort out Zelensky and Russia, myself, over Ukraine. Brian Potter, 18 months, the sentencing is a joke. Well, be careful there. Because this female judge did give him 5.5 years. But Farage says, well, that'll only be 18 months because you only serve 2/3. But of course, at the moment, this lousy Labour government, just like the Conservatives, to be fair, because the prisons are overcrowded, you're getting out earlier. So now you're only doing about 40% of your sentence. It's a complete and utter farce. See, I would say this guy is a terrorist. He wanted to kill a leading political figure, Nigel Farage. We have had MPs killed on all sides of the argument, haven't we? Whether it's Joe Cox or David Amos. So it's not a party political point, this. We can't have this. And there's no doubt about it. He made a whole load of YouTube videos. Pop, he said. Imagine if you were Farage. Or imagine if you were just an MP and you're in your constituency office, you're waiting to see a few people, and somebody like that walks in. That's what happened to David Amos. They walked in with a machete and killed him. Joe Cox in the street talking to constituents got killed by a far-right fanatic. Charlie Kirk in America just wanted to talk to people and argue and debate. Mainstream politicians have let us down. That one who followed the cook to the station was reported. It was overheard taking away the biscuits. Well, that'll probably come out in the trial. Yeah, there's been something about that. Yeah. Let's wait and see about that, Simon. But certainly, it's a very distressing story. Musical Man, what on earth is our government doing, or what on earth is our government letting into our country? Answer, they have no bloody idea and they don't care. Musical Man, that's the best comment of the night. It's really depressing, but you're right. Starmer obviously doesn't care who's in the dinghies, because if he did, he'd stop it. He doesn't know. I just wish I was back on mainstream media for this. I'd have one of those twats on and I'd say, tell me, yesterday 120 people turned up. How many of them does the government know? Oh, I haven't got that figure with me. Okay, come back to me tomorrow then and tell me. This is what mainstream interviewers should be asking. How many on average in a dinghy do you know who they are? Because today, the one who has been found guilty of wanting to assassinate Nigel Farage, the Swedish authorities are saying he ain't who he says he is. He's somebody else. And he's done all these offences here on his way to El Dorado, the United Kingdom. This is madness. It's complete madness. Reagan and Carter, Trump, genius, loved it, pure comedy gold. Trump dislikes him just as much as Khan. I think you're right. Niven Casey, YouTube. Hi, John. Trump treated Starmer like a little puppy. Here, boy, pat on the head. Now get back in your box. It was beautiful. I'm with you, Niven, on that. And then he says, do you think the aid is going to be spent on rebuilding the buildings in Gaza or on a new set of tunnels for Hamas to hide in? Don't know, Nivan, but what I would do is all those tunnels need to be filled in, don't they? And I don't know who's going to be responsible for dishing out the cash. I suppose the Palestinian Authority, although everyone says they're corrupt as well. Why don't you do a John Gaunt question night, says Maggie Young. How much harder do you want me to work, Maggie? No one's donating. You want me to do a bloody question time as well? I'm joking. But you know what I mean. Who we got next? Jew Palin. Every time Labour get into power, they make a mess of it. Yes, I think that's probably true. I've got to stop in a minute, guys. I think the reason why Hamas aren't releasing many more bodies is because they show signs of torture. As we all know, torture was happening by them. Yep. It's a fair point, Pam. Thank you. Michael Yates. A big shout out to Trump's team who work behind the scenes. For example, Marco Rubio. Who do we have? Abbott and Cooper. The Abbott and Costello would be better. I've got to agree with you on that. Musical Man. At this point, being called a racist. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a bit tired, so I do apologize. At this point, if you aren't being called a racist, you aren't expressing common sense opinions, says Musical Man. That's a brilliant comment. Thank you very much indeed. His time would be better spent at the UK, given the problems we have here. Well, that's what I was saying when he said he was going over to see Trump. He didn't need to see Trump. He didn't need to be at that do. He went because he was scared shitless of being questioned about China, although he came into Parliament today and no one questioned him. They're all wimps, aren't they? Mad. Craig Urquhart, if that evil parasite is sent back to Afghanistan, what's to stop him coming back with our rock-solid deterrence? Not. Craig, got to agree with you. Thank you for it. Brian Potter. He says, Brian Potter, fallen. Oh, he's donated £4.99, a fiver. Thank you, Brian. That is much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to donate, guys, just press the little button, the $sign there, and donate whatever you fancy. I think they take all forms of cards. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Oh, and just on that issue, if you're thinking of donating, it's Tuesday. So the cutoff point for this week, i.e. for me to get any money next week, is today. So if you are thinking of doing it this week, if you could do it today, that would be great. Thank you. Lee Goatee, did you see the Tommy case today? Yes, I did. It looks like a complete and utter farce. And they obviously just picked on Tommy. I mean, when Tommy's in the wrong, I'll be the first one to say it. He was in the wrong when he put the video up and when he repeated the contempt of court, but he's not in the wrong on this one. They're simply arrested him because he's Tommy. Oh, that's the thing that gets them on nerves, the BBC. The BBC go, oh, Tommy, what's his name? Robinson. Real name. They always go, Beat real name, Stephen Lee Axley Lennon, right? Do they do that for any of their people who are actors or presenters who have all got different names? He's not hidden that he used to be called something else. They do it to bring him down. And I'm not a massive supporter of him. Do you understand what I mean? I just think it's unfair. Patrick Bateman, look at Starmer's approval ratings. They're the lowest in history. They are. Warwick Meehan on Facebook. It's an ego trip for Starmer, just something he can use to glam up his CV. Good leaders surround themselves with competence they can rely on. He surrounded himself with idiots to make himself look better. He is clueless. You are right. Craig Marson, John, you are totally bang on. Thank you. Den Spink says, Richard Pope, nice show. Thanks, John. Maggie Morley, standing up in the comments today, trying to act, I'm the big statesman. He will never be that, ever, says Maggie. Good point, Maggie. And Craig Marson, John, it shows that a number of people could be using fake names. They all are. They're all using fake names. And Commando 3699, Starmer's collecting air miles. It certainly feels like that, Commando. Right, I'm out of time. I want to thank you all for watching, listening, debating with me. Feel free to put up comments on Facebook, on Twitter, or send me an email or a message here at YouTube. It's John Gaunt TV. Don't forget the thing that I keep saying, well, the most important thing to do. We've had 36 likes today, but the most important thing for you to do, and it doesn't cost any money, if you could go to John Gaunt TV on YouTube and click the subscribe. It comes up automatically saying, do you want to subscribe to this channel? Say yes. Because it says subscribe, I think it puts some people off thinking you're going to get taken for some money. You don't. It's just free. But what it means is that when I do a new video, you'll know that I'm going to do it, or you'll be notified about it. Yeah. And the amount of subscribers you get all adds up to how the algorithm treats you, so you get bigger audiences. And I think I'm on about 5,600 and something, around that figure, 5,600, whatever, subscribers. I'm trying to get to 10,000. And on the money side with YouTube, not the money side, the views, the more views I get, the better as well. So make sure you press the like button, all the rest of it. You know, I've gone through all this with you before. But thank you for helping me, because we are definitely making this a success. Thank you very much indeed. I'm stopping now. I've already cooked the meal. I'm just going to go and put the rice on for the people who eat rice in Laos. I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to keep telling them, Jackie Ward, you came in a bit late there, didn't you? I thought you weren't coming. Thank you, Jackie. You sent me the 3 red hearts. Thank you very much indeed. If you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.